Hey everyone, it is Sunday and we are live in our exclusive Facebook group to share all of the Sunday excitement and bring our family together to get us ready to persevere through the week ahead. It is the Sunday weekly warm up. We have an amazing guest with us. Of course, the one and only Brad Hughes is in the house, and we have already been talking shop to the point that I had to cut Brad and Lauren off, being like, guys, we had to go live. You literally can continue this conversation in a minute. We just need to involve our family over on Facebook. So if you are new to the Sunday Weekly Warm-Up, please know that we want you to be active. We are actively monitoring and engaging with the comments. We want you to be here and be very present. We will also share this stream tomorrow to all of our normal streaming places like Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and LinkedIn. It will, of course, also become an episode of Teach Better Talk podcast. But this is where the fun happens. Come into the group over at teachbettergroup.com. Participate in the comments. Let us know where you're listening from. And let us know something special you did this weekend. We'll be right back. Hey everyone, we are live for our Sunday Weekly Warm-Up. Brad Hughes, are you ready for a great show?
Ray, I am so ready to connect with you and with Lauren and with all of our Teach Better family joining us in the Sunday Weekly Warm-Up space tonight, live, exclusively in the Teach Better Facebook group. That's at teachbettergroup.com. And Ray, I was just backstage there jamming to our little Sunday Weekly Warm-Up theme, and I got my dance moves on. I've got my energy up, and we're going to have a great conversation with Lauren Kaufman tonight.
I can't wait. And for those of you where you're like looking at the screen, you're like, wait, Lauren looks so familiar. She doesn't just have one of those faces. She was actually just featured on the Teach Better Today morning show. So you may have been learning and already connected with Lauren because you're in tune with other things going on within the Teach Better family. Lauren, do you mind introducing yourself just in case somebody missed connecting with you and wants to learn about you and all that you're doing for education here on the show today?
Of course, Ray. I'm so honored to be here again. And Brad, thank you for having me. My name is Lauren Kaufman. This is my 18th year in education. When I say that, I can't believe it. It's been such an incredible journey. I was a classroom teacher, 2nd and 5th grade. I was a literacy specialist for elementary and middle school. I was an instructional coach, a role that was near and dear to my heart, and I still very much lead with a coaching mindset. Now I took the leap into administration. I've been an assistant principal, and now I'm a district leader, the director of literacy in Long Island, New York. So I'm a writer too. I love to write, and I love to read, and I love all things education. I love connecting with people, and I love being here with you all. And hi, everybody. Hi, everybody in the audience and to the Teach Better team. I'm so grateful to the Teach Better team. I learned so much from you guys. I love following everything that you do, all the professional learning that you have. So thank you for having me here. What a gift.
It's always so fun to chat with you, Lauren. And we just before we went live, we're talking about how we are going to commit right now to writing a blog together because I'm such a fan of your blog and I would love for us to work more collaboratively on a daily basis. So sign me up. Before we get into too much educational conversation, I know we're going to talk all about topics that Lauren is so passionate about. I would love to hear about all of your weekends. Brad, did you do anything fun this weekend? Anything, to celebrate? Shout out?
Well, this was the U.S. Grand Prix weekend, Ray, and so it was a Grand Prix weekend. We had it was a sprint weekend in Formula One. So from Friday evening to Saturday afternoon, the action was taking place in Austin, Texas, Circuit of the Americas. It turned out that Max Verstappen was the big winner, and both very, very close. His rival Lewis Hamilton was hot on his heels, and it was just a 1-2 finish there. And we love the Grand Prix weekends, especially this circuit and this event in Austin. Just a wonderful event. And coming up soon is the Mexico Grand Prix. And later on, they'll be in Las Vegas, Nevada, City of the Stars. Incredible Grand Prix coming up there. So in the meantime, I was in the workshop this weekend. I was working on a special piece for a special Teach Better colleague, Joshua Stamper. So I've been working on a customized sign for Joshua to celebrate his podcast, Aspire to Lead. And so I've been having a wonderful weekend of dipping into schoolwork and dipping into the workshop. And of course, the Grand Prix weekend always is a deal maker for us.
Oh my gosh, I have so many different things that I want to take. I have so many different directions I want to take this. First, if you are listening in the comments, can you tell us what your sport of choice is? Because as Brad was talking about the Grand Prix of F1, I did a lot of soccer this weekend I was going to talk about. So start us off in the comments. We would love to hear what's your sport of choice. Maybe you don't have any sports. Maybe it's something you kind of monitor. Let us know. Get those comments flowing. But the other thing, Brad, that I love that you talk about is your incredible work you're doing in your workshop. I can't wait to see Joshua's sign. Lauren, do you consider yourself artsy? Brad is so creative.
That speaks to me. I connect with that. Anybody who's creative, into sports, you're very well-rounded, Brad, I love it. Sure.
That's kind of you. I'm getting more and more rounded every year. So, yeah, I need to get off the Formula One couch and get into some racing myself.
Oh my gosh, Brad, I love your stuff. And actually, we just had an ambassador recently, like within the last week or two, post that you made Hannah a sign, and it was stunning. I have one of my own. I feel very honored to be part of this exclusive club, but all of you need to go over to Brad's hobby, side gig, job, and go get your own sign created, because I just love the diversity of what you've been able to create for people. Do you mind? Can you just give that a shout out? What's your group called? Where can they go? And there's a few different places.
I'd be grateful. So you can find my work at nowitspersonal.ca. That'll redirect you to my Facebook page. I'm also on Instagram, same name. And it's just a delight to connect one-on-one with clients to find out what's on their mind, what's important to them, who's special in their life, and what's going on that I can create something special just for them. So it's a very personal venture, and it's a very rewarding venture as well. So I appreciate the shout out.
And I love the name of the website. It's just so good. Now It's Personal is just so spot on. Lauren, if you had to pick one word to have engraved into this beautiful piece of artwork, what would you choose? This was the hardest decision for me. I was the worst person for Brad to work with, because I'm I can't choose one word. Forever? You're telling me forever? I choose one word?
Oh my goodness. That is a lot to commit to, because there are so many great words, and I struggle with this. How every year you do your one word, right? And I'm always deeply thinking about it, but I don't know off the top of my head, and I'm not sure that this is the word. I don't know. Maybe I won't commit, but I'll share that I do like the word impact. So, I think it's a powerful word, and it means something different to everybody. So
I like that. Yeah, I think that's a great, I know a lot of people have done their, the title of something they're affiliated with, their name. I love those words that are more descriptive, like impact. I did empower. I just love, I love seeing not only the diversity in the language that comes from this incredible thing that Brad's working on, but also the artistic design that you put, Brad, into the color. I just think it's fascinating. I'm sorry, friends, I have the best one, but hopefully all of you get the second best one. You know what I mean?
That's so kind. And Lauren, I love your word impact, because each of us, whatever our important role in education might be, we have the potential to positively impact and even change lives. Maybe not in an earth-shifting way, but you think about the ripples of influence that we have, the kindness or the smiles or finding the fun. You just never know who we educators and caregivers are impacting on a moment-to-moment basis. I love that word impact.
Yeah, Brad, I think I love what you said, and I think about that a lot. I always think about where I was, where I am, and where I want to be. And I think throughout our journeys, both personally and professionally, there are people who impact our lives, whether they're in our lives for moments, minutes, hours, months, years. There's a reason those people are placed in your journey. And even if it's a small interaction, I always say small moves make big impact. My friend Megan Lawson also says that. We talk about that a lot in our writing. So I love that. It's very significant in education. It's very significant in our lives. And I think that, the word impact, sometimes we don't know when we're making impact. I think an interaction that can be a microcosm of somebody's day can actually, or of your day, really, might mean so much bigger to somebody else, right? So I love it.
So good. Something that I was seeing in the comments was in response to Brad's reflection from his weekend, people were posting their favorite sports that they like to follow. Brad, any in the comments that you wanted to give a shout out to? Any noteworthy in there?
Well, shout out to Brian Arnott, who enjoys European football.
Nope.
Man City or U.S. soccer.
Nope. Sorry, that comment is not allowed on the show. I am extremely upset with Man City. They just overtook my team. So that is Brian. Nope. Sorry, no. Anything else, Brett? Anything else?
Well, I think you've got to explain now, Ray. What UK football team do you cheer for?
Oh, the only one that exists, Brad. The only people that follow English Premier League should always be Tottenham fans. And we went from first to like fourth or fifth. We don't play till tomorrow. We didn't play this weekend. So it's not finished yet for the week 9. But yeah, no. Nope. Sorry, Brian. Nope. It's heartbreaking. Let's just say that. Any others besides those awesome soccer players out there?
Well, we have a Liverpool fan in our comments tonight, but no, we'd love to hear more about diversions, sporting and otherwise, that our listeners and viewers enjoy. And Lauren, when you think about your loved ones and the people near and dear to you or in your education life, what kind of diversions, athletic or otherwise, are coming up for you?
Well, immediately what surrounds me is baseball and basketball, because that's what my 2 boys play. So yeah. I am constantly on the field. If anybody follows me on social media, especially on my personal accounts, you will see that I am always on the baseball field. And it's just such a joy. I have to admit, I really wasn't a sports person growing up. I was more into art and acting and singing and dancing. That was me, but really into the theater arts. My dad loves sports, but my husband loves sports and my kids do. So I've learned to appreciate sports even more. And we're true New York fans over here. Mm-hmm. I'm in New York, so we're big Yankee fans over here. And, I love going to a good game. I'm just a New York fan. So, I'll enjoy any games with my family. What brings me joy is really just seeing my boys enjoy watching sports and playing sports. And I'm trying to savor all the moments because they're 14 and 12 now. So, I kind of feel like, especially with my oldest son, like 4 years with him until he's in 9th grade, until he might, whatever he chooses to do, whether he chooses to go to college or do something else, I'm holding on to those moments.
So special. Friends, as we continue to reflect on our conversations here and on our weekend and into the week ahead, we'd love to hear from you. Maybe the biggest highlight from your weekend that you'd like to give a shout out and share with our community here. Remember, our Teach Better group is exclusive to educators, but we are a family. So just like we on the screen get to engage with one another, we really want to have you all engaging with the comments as well, not only with us, of course, but also with each other. So feel free to give a shout out of the highlight of your weekend, whether you're a sports fan, maybe into some creativity, some arts. We'd love to hear it in the chat so we can continue to have you be a participate in this conversation. Lauren and Brad, we have a lot more in store to discuss, but I thought we would transition here into that deep discussion of education because I know Lauren has a ton to share with us. Does that sound good?
Ready to go.
Sounds like a plan. I'm always ready to talk education.
We'll be right back. Hey everyone, welcome back to our Sunday weekly warm-up. We are currently in our Sunday strategies segment of the show, which is a period of time we like to have every single week to come together, talk shop about education a little bit, and hopefully be able to take something away to make us a little bit better as we head into our week ahead. Lauren is an incredible educator. She does so much for so many different people that follow her and get to engage with her in real life in person every single day. Lauren, one of the things I love that you do is you are a phenomenal blogger. And I can only imagine that there is some topic that you can reflect on, that you can pull from the blog and maybe bring to our community here. Because I'm confident people read your blog because I know it's so popular. But I'm sure that from your writing, you're actually able to really see what is like the hard-hitting topics people are being drawn to. Can you tell us a little about that?
Sure. I'd love to first speak about how, I started this blog a couple of years ago. I think it was during the pandemic. And during that time, I had connected with George Couros because I used to facilitate a mentor program in my prior school district. And we used the Innovator's Mindset as a book to frame the work we were doing in the mentor program. And he challenged me in front of all of the educators, the mentors and the mentees to start a blog. He said, Lauren, you have some really great ideas. You should really reflect and write about them. And I remember being very fearful in the beginning of sharing my thinking and sharing my learning because I almost thought, what would I have to share that nobody's seen before? And he said, Lauren, that's not why we write. We write to reflect on our own learning. It's for our own personal growth. And then if people benefit from that, that's the added bonus, right? So I remember I used to perseverate over these blogs. Like I used to look at them and stare at them before I would push one out because I was nervous, is the grammar correct? Is what I'm saying okay? Is it going to offend anybody? So there was so much for me that went into it. And I really evolved over the last couple of years with it. I really remained consistent with it because I've realized that it, like I said earlier, it helps me think about who I was, who I am, and who I'm continuously striving to be. And it helps me connect the dots, a little bit of neuroscience, when we're in focus mode all the time and we're learning and consuming so much. For me, I feel overwhelmed if I can't get those ideas out. So I need to go into diffuse mode and I need to start connecting those dots and I need to start turning consumption into creation. And that's why I blog. I know, for a lot of people, self-care means something different to everybody. One of the things I do is I go for walks. When I go for my walks and I'm around nature, I start thinking of some amazing ideas, right? Or ideas, at least that I think are amazing for me, and I start thinking, oh my goodness, this would make a great lesson, or this idea would make a great professional learning experience, right? And how fortunate I feel that I have now a space to memorialize all of that thinking and all of that work. So what is interesting about my blogs, I think, and so I've been told, somebody else might think different, is, I developed a style of writing over the years, and the style is very much like this. What I do is I give a lot of the what and the why, right? The research behind it, things I'm thinking about, and then it's like unwrapping a present, right? You're unwrapping that gift and then you open the bow and you see the gift, and the gift at the end is, and this is how it looks. This is how it can look in your world as a leader or in the classroom. Take from it what you can and apply it to your practice. And I really feel like any professional learning or any article we read or any blog we read, anything that's out there in education, I feel like it's a win when we can take one or two things away from it. It might not apply, everything might not apply to us, but take one or two things and how can that look in my world? And so my blogs really range from really practical strategies that you can implement in a PD or in your classroom, or strategies for leaders, to just more like self-care. Like, how do we care for ourselves in the world of education? Because as the educational landscape continuously evolves, there's a lot of change that's happening. How do we navigate that as educators in whatever space we're learning and growing in? Who can we lean on for support? So that's really what the blog is rooted in, are all of those things. And it's I think I shared this with you, Ray, recently, that the blogs that I think very deeply about, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be awesome, sometimes they don't resonate with others as well. But like, for example, yesterday I wrote one called Leading with Appreciation for Yourself and Others. And it was all about my reflecting around this week. And I wrote it very quickly, yet it resonated with so many. So you never know. But when I keep in mind that I'm writing this for myself, reflecting in my own learning, this is like my own digital portfolio. If I can help others, that's even an added bonus. So I'm happy to connect with anyone about my blog anytime, any ideas that I share, any ideas others have. And Ray, like, I love that I challenged you. Like, George challenged me to co-write a blog with me this week. You said you want to be writing more. So I'm challenging you. I'm going to share a doc with you this week, and we're going to start collaborating on a piece together, and we're going to push it out. And I'll give it a deadline too. I won't share it here, but maybe we'll share our deadline together and we'll push something out. So everybody here will know something is coming out from Ray and myself, a blog, very soon.
Yeah, Brad, I'm really excited to hear your thoughts on the amazing things so far that Lauren has been sharing. But something, Lauren, that I really appreciate and that absolutely is resonating with me right now is the process of getting started in that writing. So I know we have a lot of people here in our community, the Teach Better family, who either has written a blog, maybe they even write for the Teach Better blog, or they haven't yet gotten started in writing a blog. And for a long time, like, I've had my own different hurdles of what may be the excuse of the day of why I'm not writing. But yeah, honestly, my reason right this moment is I literally cannot put the words on a doc. Like, I don't have any reason. I just can't get started. And this hurdle that I can't really understand seems to be my excuse for weeks and weeks and weeks. And Brad, I'm sure you yourself have strived to overcome little blocks like that. I wonder if that topic just in general might resonate with someone in our community here.
100%. And I just want to reflect back to you that you may have some challenges getting pen to paper or the words down into a doc, but before we got on the air tonight, you were recording an Instagram reel. And to me, that is a form of blogging or publishing. You're just not using a doc, you're using video. And I mean, you publish multiple video blogs, mini blogs every single day. So I think that's worth recognizing and celebrating. And I also think that Lauren and Brianne's in our comments, and Brianne is saying, you never know what you have to say what there we go. That's better. You never know who your words are going to resonate with. And so, Lauren, while your blog may be a personal venture, a personal reflection and opportunity to document your thoughts and to reflect on your own growth, you're publishing it on a website. And, the hope is that it's going to resonate with at least one person. And we talked a little bit earlier about those ripples. You just never know what impact or what small shift in thinking or practice your blog might engender. So your most recent blog, Leading with Appreciation, I'm really curious if something recently happened where you had that aha moment in your role as an AP where appreciation was either lacking or appreciation was something that you needed to, or you found kind of welling up inside you. What was the spark?
So first, I just would like to comment on what you said about Ray and her video creations, because all of those thoughts, you're 100% right, Brad. She is actually creating her, I think you call that a vlog, actually. Is there a word for that? Yeah, there's a word for that, right? You're doing a vlog. And yes, you are communicating with others and sharing your ideas through another medium. And I think that's very powerful. So Brad, yes, I want to just commend Ray that you are sharing more out there than you think and memorializing it just in a different space. So
you guys are
awesome.
You guys are so good for my ego. I'm blushing.
It's true. It's true. And, so Brad, you asked me a question about what resonated with me over the course of this week to inspire me to write this. Well, since I was in a formal leadership role, I was an assistant principal. Now I'm a director of literacy. So I moved from building leadership to district leadership. But I have felt in every stage of my career, I truly believe that there aren't titles in education. Like, we are all here rowing in the same direction for kids. We need each other to do that. Every role in an organization is so important. And I have thought back to the leaders when I was, on the front lines in the classroom, working with kids or working directly with teachers as a coach, or like I do now. I've always thought about the leader I've always needed. Because I ask myself, Lauren, who is the leader you want to be? My answer is, Lauren, you need to be the leader you always needed and wanted, right? So it's like I take the best from all different people who have encountered me in my life and have shown up on my path. And I want to be the best version of all of them, right? And just be myself in the process. And through that, they have always shown me the best versions of all of these amazing people, these amazing mentors who've come into my life, have shown me appreciation in some form, some way, shape, or form. And I always feel like we are in the business of working with human beings, working with children, working with people. Leading with empathy and showing gratitude is probably one of the most valuable things we can do in this world of education, because there are lots of ebbs and flows to our days, right? So, this week, Brad, and Ray, I was in a sea of priorities that I was juggling. And sometimes I have to give, if I feel like I'm lacking something in myself, I feel like whatever I'm lacking, I need to give to others even more, and when I can't be in all the places all the time, like I want to be, because maybe in my world, I'm in the midst of professional learning or working on a project, and I'm thinking of the whole K-12 continuum, that's where I thought about this idea of leading with appreciation for myself and for others. And what do people, and talking about George Couros and his work, I mentioned him actually in this blog, because as I was reading his Saturday email yesterday, he said something. I'm going to read his quote actually around gratitude. He says, something I have embraced over the past several years is that we can never share gratitude for others too early, but it can definitely come too late. I have made it my mission that if I see something good in others, I always let them know. And embracing that idea has never let me down. So another thing I was battling with over the last couple of weeks is that I almost forgot that I should be empowering other people to help me, lifting others up and elevating them. Because if I'm in the midst of the hustle and bustle of the day-to-day, and I have all of this work to do, why aren't I asking more people for help sometimes, And it's not that I don't want to. I know this. I know that's a great practice. People did that for me, but I think it just got lost on me somehow. And so this week I really made it my mission, after a mentor said to me, Lauren, distribute leadership a little bit. People want to work with you. They want to help you. And I made it very with intention and purpose this week. I actually collaborated with people because I trust them. I handed over professional learning. I'm collaborating with other teachers to do professional learning. Why? Because I trust them. And because I know that I can't do it all. And because those people are doing all of these things for me, I made it a point to show them appreciation, to send them voice notes, to send them texts, to send them emails, to tell them right then and there. So that was really the impetus for this blog. And we really have to learn and consistently pass the torch to others, right? And when we pass the torch and celebrate others, we're actually building their capacity and helping grow future leaders. So that's really the framework for the blog. And you know, it seems to be really resonating with a lot of people. So
I love that focus, Lauren. And I think that we're going to have so many people in our community here within our Teach Better family really chewing on that concept and thinking about how they can apply that to their week ahead in everything that they have going on their to-do list and their busy calendars. If you had one message that you maybe wanted to leave our community with, that if they got nothing else from this conversation, something that they really could consider and take on maybe even as a challenge for the week, what would you share with them?
I would share that you should continue to lean on the support of your colleagues. It's the collective intelligence of all of us that helps us grow and learn, and continue to recognize the gifts in others. When we recognize the gifts in others, we're able to use that collective intelligence that's around us to build new and better things, to create new and better things. And I think that's the takeaway, is we're better together, and never feel like you're alone. Just ask for help. Ask for help when you're in the abyss of everything you're doing.
Brad, I know that as a leader in your own building, you are constantly needing to find that balance of asking for help and also choosing to do things on your own. What are your thoughts on Lauren's challenge for our community this week?
Lauren was causing me to reflect right in the moment about the reasons why I may not delegate or ask for help. I think the most common barrier for me, Ray and Lauren, is that I recognize how busy other people are. And if I can lighten their load by persisting with a task and not really asking for help or not really adding them into the mix, then maybe I'm providing a service that they need as well. But I recognize, Lauren and Ray, really clearly that if part of my role is to grow capacity, is to both personal and professional capacity, not only is asking for help necessary so that I can continue to be the best school leader that I can be and prioritize what I need to prioritize, but I think there's a real lesson both in humility and service when leaders and when all of us ask for the help we need. Often I'll put as the title of an email, help needed, and then in the subject line, what kind of help is needed. And I'm trying to do it more and more frequently and intentionally. That's the number one barrier for me, but I recognize that growing others' practice and capacity depends on me inviting others into my work.
You know, it's interesting, Brad, I thought of the same concern of not wanting to ever ask someone for help because you assume that they're already at their capacity. They have a long to-do list. And yet having you and Lauren both share the importance of asking for help and how that you could choose to do that more this week. I've really been reflective on if either of you had asked me for help, how I would feel. And the reality is I respect both of you. I consider both of you friends. Brad, I love working with you on a day-to-day basis. I almost feel like you asking me to help you, it's not a stressful task. It would be my honor to be a part of making something easier. And also then it feels a little different than when I self-assign myself homework to do something. For me, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to do something that Lauren is going to appreciate because the job is done, but also Lauren's going to appreciate because it's going to make her feel good that she didn't have to do it. I feel like sometimes delegating could serve in that way. I wonder if that perspective on occasion might help us ask for help more often, knowing that sometimes we really do have people in our lives that really would love to help if they knew what they could do to best serve you in your world. So it's just interesting to think through this. I'm excited to read all the comments and hear people take on this challenge.
I love that. I think that's so true. When those we love and care for reach out and say, here's how you can lighten my load, here's how you can brighten my day, it really is an honor and a pleasure. And it's funny that's how I feel when someone asks me for help, Ray and Lauren. And so, the reverse can also be true. Asking for help is a way of building those relationships. And Lauren, you were talking about the importance of nurturing those connections, and that reciprocity of service, that reciprocity of helping one another is, I think, really an engine of stronger relationship.
I agree with you. Relationships are definitely a two-way street, and we have different relationships with the people who surround us. And we're all like pieces of this puzzle, right? And what happens when you put a puzzle together, you see a big picture, and you might see that picture a little bit differently, and that's okay too, right? Like, we all have different backgrounds, we all have different experiences, and we all have something to share and add to that picture, that perspective that we're seeing. So I think honoring people, recognizing that, and continuously building connections. And, my mentor, who's my 4th grade teacher, Linda Roth, I still keep in touch with her to this day. She retired as an assistant superintendent of curriculum and instruction. And we speak so often. And she says to me, Lauren, she says, a lot of people use that phrase, great minds think alike, but I think great minds think differently. And, a shift in that saying, really opened my mind up a lot, because I'll be honest, early on in my educational career, I used to feel like, well, my way is the way. And why aren't people thinking the way I'm thinking? Why aren't they approaching this lesson or this idea the way that I am? And I tended to cultivate or gravitate rather towards people who had my perspective or my vision. But now, as I've evolved in my career, I tend to want to connect with people who think differently with me, because they push me. They push me to see things in new ways. So that's why I appreciate my professional learning community. I really appreciate my professional learning network, because I love seeing what people are doing in different spaces, because it helps me think a little bit differently, and then brings that lens into perspective a little bit more. It makes the focus a little bit more clear.
So powerful. As we all continue to reflect on who we surround ourselves with, how we can delegate more this week, and who really is in our network that we can choose to delegate to and build and foster those relationships with, I do want to add a little spark to your day before we wrap up our conversation. Shout out to Brad Hughes, who has officially renamed our ending segment of our Sunday show. It used to be Sunday Giggles. But what we realized is, while you might get a giggle from some of the stories that we will share, it really just is the spark to a great end to a weekend and heading into a good week. So we'll be right back with some feel-good stories and some holidays. Still one of my favorite commercials of the show. If you guys are listening over on Teach Better Talk podcast after the fact, I have to encourage you to join us live on Sunday at some point so you can see all the commercials and the energy in the comments. The comments have been so active today, and we love that. You're not only interacting with us and our amazing guests, but also each other. And that's what this is all about. The Teach Better family is truly a family. So we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear if you have questions, and we'd love to have you all continue to share resources. As we head into our Sunday Spark, I know, Brad, you must have something for us to add a little sparkle to our weekend. And then we also have some holidays to celebrate for the upcoming week. What do you got for us, Brad?
Ray, I'm sharing out a podcast that has really been sparking my thinking and sparking some discussion among educators at my school. And it comes from Meg Durham. Durham is an Australian teacher, educator, consultant. And the School of Wellbeing is a podcast all about educator well-being. And in the most recent episode, Meg interviews Andrew Fuller, and the topic is tolerating discomfort and embracing challenges. That the thesis that is explored here in this podcast really sparked my thinking about how student behavior, or some so-called misbehavior, impacts teacher well-being, and how we can all reflect on the changes that living and educating post-pandemic, how those appear in our classrooms and hallways. The thesis here that Dr. Fuller shares is that behavior is shaped by constantly practicing and bumping up against feedback to shift or shape behavior as we grow. And so when students were at home during lockdown and pandemic, those opportunities to interact with and to practice different behaviors for better and for worse was very limited. And so now what we see is a shift in student need in terms of risk-taking and in terms of the grade appropriate or the age appropriate behavior we might anticipate seeing in our schools has now shifted post-pandemic. Now we're reckoning with students needing to take those steps and to make those mistakes. It's exhausting and it's also very challenging, but we have to keep in mind that this is an opportunity that we all have as educators to serve and better understand our students' needs as well as our families' needs. The other really cool thing in this podcast, Lauren and Ray, was about risk aversion. I wonder if as educators, we're seeing our students and maybe even ourselves and our colleagues more and more averse to taking risks, putting ourselves out there. This is a great conversation with Meg Durham and Andrew Fuller on the School of Wellbeing podcast. Well worth a listen. They talk about secondary or high school education, but then they shift back to elementary education. It's given me a lot of food for thought, and it's making me reflect on how I serve all kids in all spaces as they strive to make better and better and more responsible choices.
So powerful, Brad. We always love a good podcast recommendation, and shout out to all of our podcasters over on the Teach Better Podcast Network as well. We might need to invite Meg to be a part of the crew. That could be a good add to our Teach Better Podcast Network.
Absolutely.
The other element that I want to give a shout out to is all the amazing holidays that are coming up this week that we all would love to be in celebration together. Some of them are religious holidays or cultural holidays, such as there's a Hindi holiday this week. There's also a really, really interesting Asian holiday this week I was so excited to learn more about. For the rest of us that may be looking for other things to celebrate, it's also World Pasta Day coming up on the 25th of October. We have National Pumpkin Day on the 26th. We have Kangaroo Awareness Day, which is always important, coming up on Tuesday this week. And let's see, Friday just so happens to be National Beer Day. So I'm not telling anyone to necessarily go out, but it seems like a good Friday way to go. The other two holidays I want to make you all aware of is both Monday and Friday have some strange coworker holidays that sound to be made up, Brad. I'm just going to say,
yeah.
I can't condone either of these holidays, but I do want to give a shout out to Cranky Coworkers Day that's on Friday. So maybe we'll all choose to be either a cranky coworker or try and make our cranky coworkers a little bit happier that day. We'll see how it goes. So good.
Is that really a day?
It is. It's on the world holiday list. You don't think I make these up, do you?
I don't know. I'm done.
The one on Monday was to slap your annoying coworker, and I definitely cannot condone that one. No, keep your hands to yourself.
Yeah, no, that is not a good idea. No.
But I do like the challenge of, like a cranky coworker day. Like, try and do everything in your power to find the crankiest coworker and make him smile. I feel like that, internally, I would have such a giggle trying to do that.
Oh my goodness. I have to tell you that I don't know. I feel like I don't see any cranky people in my world lately. I mean, I don't know. I feel kind of fortunate. I feel like everybody around me is, working hard, of course, but I don't know. Cranky to me is kind of like grouchy. I don't know.
Lauren, I don't want you to feel left out if you can't celebrate cranky coworker. It's also World Elizabeth Day for people that are named Elizabeth on Wednesday. It's their day of celebration. Do you know anyone named Elizabeth?
I do.
Perfect.
I absolutely do. Yes. I will be celebrating all of the Elizabeths in my world. For
There
sure.
we go. I don't know what day is National Brad Hughes Day, but I know it exists somewhere. I'll have to find it.
I'm wondering if we can make sure that we celebrate anyone that is Liz or Beth or Betty or any of the other forms of Elizabeth. And it sounds like a really regal affair to me, Ray.
I think so too.
And you know what? Can I give a shout out to Elizabeth Bostwick, because
Yes.
I love Liz. We just collaborated on a piece of writing that will hopefully be coming out soon. So, you know, she's a great person to collaborate with. Such a sincere person, a sincere voice in education. And talk about podcasts. She has an awesome podcast with Tisha Richmond. So yes, I'm going to be celebrating Elizabeth Bostwick. She's going to be my number one Elizabeth. That she's going to be the first one I text on that day. When is that day?
It's on Wednesday, and I have to admit, Lauren, she's the first one I thought of too. So shout out to all the people in our community, but especially when you have an Elizabeth that pops into your mind because she's had such a good impact on education. You know, Lauren, before we wrap up our conversation, I do want to make sure you share your contact information so our community here can continue their connection to you as well, because I don't know when National Lauren Day is, but it's got to be coming up.
I don't know. Is there a National Lauren Day? I feel like I'm going to look that up now.
I got it. You share your social media. I'm Googling it.
That's so funny. Okay. Well, you can connect with me on social media at Lauren M. Kaufman. You can see it up on the screen right now on all my social media accounts. And you can follow the work that I do at laurenmkaufman.com. That's where all my writing is, and you know, anything I do in education, my digital portfolio. Happy to connect. Did you find something, Ray?
I did, and I have really bad news.
There's no celebration for me.
There's two National Lauren Days, so I don't actually know the difference between them, but there are two National Lauren Days. And you literally just missed one. One was October 22nd, National Lauren Day.
Wait, isn't that today?
Is that today?
October 22nd. It's today. It's today. Oh my goodness. Is that why you invited me on today? Are you
That's exactly why we invited you, Lauren. Surprise! We did it, Ray. We pulled it off.
This could not be funnier. It also is June 28th, just for you to know.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh my goodness.
We could not have planned that more authentically.
That's amazing.
That is amazing. I'm do you see mouth wide open? It's National Lauren Day.
It made it so much better that I didn't know what day it was.
That's it. You know what? The stars were aligned. And as soon as we get off of this live, I'm no joke. In my school district, we have about, 7, 8 Laurens who we all work together, and we call each other all like Lauren M, Lauren Q, Lauren LK, I'm going to put all of the Laurens I know on a text thread right now. And I'm going to say, guess what? It's International Lauren Day.
I love it.
So amazing.
Well, friends, thank you so much for joining the shenanigans on Sunday weekly warm-up. Brad always has such an amazing spark for us, but to wrap up with a good giggle is always a win in my book. Please continue to connect with Lauren. And of course, Brad and I from the Teach Better team, we are here to support you every single day, no matter what the hour is. Reach out anytime. We are here to help make your day a little bit better. We hope you have an amazing week ahead. And please remember to continue to participate within all the things going on within the Teach Better family. Lauren, thank you again for coming. This was a ball.
Thank you for having me. It was a party. I loved it.
Brad, until next time. See you later, friend.
See you, friends.
Bye.